It's great to have the likes of GamerLegion here. And obviously, we talked about it at the start of the last match. You know, they missed out in Minsk last year. What was it? Right? November last year, right? We were in Minsk, and they missed out. And it was one of those moments where I believe they were almost there. They almost went in and then got knocked out. It was, I think it was all within the last game. If memory serves me correct, as well, a lot that's happened since then. But it's great to see the likes of Hamster, you know, has bounced around teams like Copenhagen Flames, etc. You know, they were always there or thereabouts when we did the qualifiers for the PGLs, for IEMs, etc. When we were always doing these qualifiers online, there was always these players. They were always there, and they were always like the likes of Bjorn and etc. You always see them sort of coming together. So I'm glad that obviously they've stuck together as one of the team to start with, which is a big deal, because obviously we've seen, you know, the likes of, say, Besiktas, who came through, and now obviously known as Desperados, that came through the qualifiers, that did have to replace Lux. You know, you never really know what goes on in these teams, but for a team to stick together that long throughout contenders and fight through it, believe, just like N47 did as well.
And that's a bigger story of what we're seeing now with this player pool, I want to say, where you know who your fraggers are, who are your solid players, who are your individuals, and
we're starting to sieve through the cracks, basically.
The really solid players.
Yeah.
I mean, Monkey's one of them for
the
me.
Dependables.
Kind of,
yeah, well, that was a surprise, right?
I mean,
in Phase 2.
Yes and no. At the end of the day, they almost sacrificed themselves.
Wasn't he the
reciprocity.
fifth highest damage dealer in Phase 1?
He was something ridiculous.
Yeah.
He was incredible. We will keep talking. You can see Game 2's going on, but we will keep talking about it, because it is a big thing for this entire phase that we have all these new players.
So
we have
many new players.
New teams.
It's a wash of them.
But then you look at, for instance, and this is one thing I don't want. It's not BM, but it's just something that I do want to talk about. Monkey. He's benched on Vitality. Vitality are no longer here. Shiv and Monkey come up.
Yeah.
You see these
the old
scenarios,
AAA boys.
You see these new scenarios, like even Desperados. I mean, hell, I think about Minsk, for instance, when we look towards what was Besiktas at the time. They were 8th.
Diamond Dogs back then, weren't they, I think?
I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was just
Besiktas.
Because I couldn't say it at the time, and you would explain it to me.
Yes, you are correct.
There's a lot of Turkish football teams you expect.
Fenerbahce
but it was one... They were 8th. I'm pretty sure they were 8th going into that final game, which was time for them to qualify, and they bottled out first in 16th. It was the old scenario of the team that we need to focus on dies first.
And he was just like, oh. that happened. So we got changes. Obviously, it is a pretty harsh flight path. It's a really far eastern path. It means Desperados, by the way, who we saw in Cumacero last time, and now in Impala, N47, back down there, going to Porto Paris. So let's see, GamerLegion. Now, do they go over to Cumacero knowing that it's now free? Digital Athletics have decided, okay, we're going to go eastern side of Los Leones, because, well, Los Leones is massive, so there's plenty of room for 2 teams in there. But with this, such an eastern plane path, you can see a lot of people going for those long drops. There's going to be some late people coming in, phased way down south, because Monte Nuevo was simply not doable. And of course, as is always the way, the circle goes the opposite side.
So you'd have to assume that given the flight path on the previous game, that's why ENCE decided to go all the way down south, because now they're back on home territory across that farm split. You would also suggest that maybe this is the same scenario for Desperados, because they're now in Impala.
Surely that was, I mean, if you think of it, basically where the night sign is, the plane kind of went over there, Knights and TSM. I think that was easily made droppable for ENCE, but it was definitely an interesting change. Maybe we don't, again, it is all simple theory crafting for us until we can figure out the patterns and plays.
It could be quite clever if they said, okay, well, we know where other teams will be going if they're not available, and on an instant you need your IGL or your team cap to say, okay, this plane is good for FaZe,
which was a great
Navi.
call, right? Because it would have been FaZe Navi. Yeah,
exactly. And it's those micro decisions that we don't necessarily think about or talk about too much. They literally have to think on a dime.
Yeah.
Like, and how quick that plane will have come. It's like, don't worry, they won't be there. Dive, 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 and then get out. It kind of paid off, I suppose.
Yeah, because now we obviously normal up in La Cabrera. They could have quite easily gone out into Tor Armada and then gone across. You know, it was totally viable for the likes of Navi, but instead they didn't. They did go down south. FaZe, we've seen them do this before, right? This is their Phase 2 switches. You know, they went down to Valdelmar, etc., and worked their way up to Monte Nuevo.
This is where the West is always difficult for them to get into, and they
have
it's
not
to
now. There's nothing there.
I suppose, yeah.
They just drive straight up and in. This is going to be an easy one.
We've seen it several times, though, where they'll come in around water treatment or just before it, and then they have to fight from there onwards. You get out and you go on foot. I suppose it depends if anyone else goes further or faster than them, should I say, and on that same kind of road path.
Well, there's a character on your screen, TomiL. He certainly has made a name for himself on and off the camera. He played magnificently in the promotions tournament.
You need personality. I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
More personality.
Too right. I don't want the. I like people expressing themselves and feel. And honestly, if I was to look across esports and look at all the people that have been very successful, they've all been your big personalities. Your Ocelots at Carlos at G2. I would say Reginald to an extent with TSM. You know, Nade Shot, 100 Thieves. These are guys that all had the skill, but also the personality that came with it, and they've gone on to make themselves a brand off.
Nobody who was quiet and said nothing and shy really becomes a name or a brand for themselves. Yes, you can be a good player, but you know, and I think about Na'Vi, they're pretty reserved. But good God, even ubah, he's quite a reserved guy. I know behind the game and stuff, he's a bit of a lad, but on camera in the game, he's a very reserved player and quite quiet and very work orientated. But that doesn't transition in terms of when you look at him. He is one of the best players on this frigging server.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
but he's not a loud and proud player. He's not one of the. He's not like your Fuzzface.
He's not in your face. Yeah.
Sometimes they don't always transition there, but yeah, I agree. Building a brand and making a name for yourself is so important in this industry, not just this game, but in this industry as a whole. Being somebody and being just not another face in the crowd.
You can set a career for yourself, and the fact is that your esports career is only going to be generally very short-lived. As simple as that. It's Braexco. I was going to say the gun did not pick up there. He just kind of changed it around. Went back, goes Mini 14 again. He's dropped on the floor. Is that a Mark 14? Did you drop a Mark 14? Choose not to take it. Looked like a Mark 14 on the floor there.
I didn't quite catch it.
Yeah, I didn't see what it was. But anyway, rotations are beginning. No alarms this time telling us that it's happening. Thankfully, I still honestly, I was still absolutely nailed on. I thought it was my phone, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It was too clear. Hello, Ibby. He's no clue that Scoom is here. No clue at all. It's going to be an easy one for Scoom. He just saw the car. He just saw Scoom's car. Yeah, he's instantly backed. He's instantly backed, I believe. No, he hasn't. He's got support coming. Jempty's coming around. Uh-oh, this is a three-man stack. Now, Shiv is kind of nearby. Now, remember, they start in Mitraleius, so the reciprocity are always going to be nearby. But the second they saw that vehicle, reinforcements have arrived.
This is very clever from Scoom, because you wouldn't expect him to be here. Jimbo's going to get the first strike. Down he goes. You have to flush this. You have to confirm it. Job done. That's great, because the second you let fire and let rip, the alarm bell is rung.
He's been very quiet about it. I really like it. That's a flashbang coming out from him. I think he's going to flashbang push. He is. He goes for the flashbang, but Skoomer got himself tucked in enough. Instantly checks for Jempty.
Shiv can see that angle. Are they bailing on this completely?
Samty's coming around the back. Samty's coming around the back, I think. Is he going to go up high, maybe? Mitraleius, he may well try and find a different position. He's had to hold things off. As you say, Shiv was making the move, but he wasn't expecting Jempty up here, it seems. Jempty catches him just with the knock there, and the grenade will flush him, and now Scoom realizes he's on his own. Monkey is on his way, but he may well be a little too late to this party. Scoom's down.
Yeah, Samty caught for him. That's the off angle, so that's 2 for 2 here. And in either scenario for this one, and I'm fine with these players committing to this cause, because you can't disconnect from it. You get a vehicle at that point, you drive up in the distance, they're just going to shoot you. As soon as you get in the vehicle, they hear the noise, they just drill you with an AR and you're gone. You have to take that fight, and I'm fine with it.
It's very aggressive, though. They're going to be well... I mean, for Liquid to come here, they're well aware that Reciprocity are going to be in and around here. This has been very aggressive play from them. So maybe trying to put a sign down early. Na'Vi, very organised in their parking.
Roadblock.
Yeah.
Look at them all setting up to get to... It's like a little...
Full synchronization. We were talking about it before. Shiv, though, getting finished off, so that's confirmed 2 kills for Team Liquid. Reciprocity down 2. The question is, will they get more? No, it looks like they're going to get out of there. Meanwhile, the firing squad finds Sadovnik.
Good God.
Sixmo will take him down. His vehicle is destroyed.
Yeah, that's not... You're never going to get out of that one alive. He's so open on that hillside as well that you will slow down, especially in that truck going up the hill. It just gives you even easier amount to batter the side of the vehicle. FaZe Clan are doing the long western shift. They're the only ones outside the circle thus far. Everyone else inside. Furthest afield was Na'Vi, who you just previously saw on screen. Everyone thinking this circle will centralize. If we get a hard shift, regardless which way it is, you'll have at least 3 to 4 teams that have to go on a very hard rotate. And they'll have to re-rotate. They'll have to go up the circle because you can't go forward. You can't go through the middle of that circle because you're just walking into the lion's den and you will die.
Yeah, you're gonna bump into team after team after team. They're doing the scout and move at the moment. As you mentioned for FaZe, we saw it. Obviously, with such a far eastern plane, it does open up the fields for anybody that decides to go west. Now, GamerLegion, they've got Team Liquid above them, but I think we just saw from the angle a moment ago, mxey is up there with them. I don't know whether that's been spotted. NIP again pulled up on. The Knights are coming in. They're going for a visit. NIP have to back away from this one. Vard, his vehicle's a long way away. He cannot make it to that buggy.
Is MBS, are they driving here or are they hiding the vehicles? I think that's a drive away.
Again, they're going back to look at teammates above the north, and it actually works out. Look at TSM spread. That is perfect. The question is, will they get pushed on by the likes of Team Liquid? Looks like they're going to go for the simple compound on the crossroads. The rest of the teams all start to make it their way north.
Let's remember how many games TSM have won off the back of these really good circles. They own this land. This is their drop location in and around Hacienda. They know it so well. It's their playground and their territory. The hard point is that Michael has to make a stance. He has the largest compound on his own. I'd expect Rory maybe to regroup for him, so then go for the 2-2 split and take a larger proportion of the ground. The saving grace is the fact that it's very open, so he can peacock, he can shoot teams. On arrival, he has a good vision onto vehicles. He can just let rip with an AR and it's job done, potentially. Hacienda completely open, so you'd expect Na'Vi to make an entry point. They do. Krabik's dead. Aduzi runs himself over. Well done, fella.
I think did he roll back down the hill on him or what?
Either that or he just jumped out a little bit too early.
It's reciprocity. 7 are actually down a player or two as well, so
that's a
Buster
shot.
caught out. That was a cracker.
Double minute.
A French and a German up on the hill.
Here's a question for you. What do you think to the G2 roster? Because I thought O'Dear were a banging little player, and to lose him, I think it's...
I don't know what happened. I don't know why they changed, but I feel...
for a team that was consistently playing well, to change 50...
Consistently placing, yeah.
To change 50% of your roster doesn't feel like a fix to me.
I mean, I saw it coming. I didn't expect both to change, so...
it was big, wasn't it? It was a big player.
I don't know. I mean, they were consistent. They were strong. I guess that the problem is that when you are that strong, and clearly, obviously, Braexco and Chris are a big part of that team, which is why they're the base of it. It's very hard to put your finger on where you improve and what you improve out of those two players, because we don't know internally what those players brought to the table.
Yeah.
And whether Yannis and NELLOZ, who have been around in the scene for a very long time. So we don't really know the history between these players, whether they play together or, all these players play together at some point somewhere, be it in Face It or wherever they end up playing. Gaxi down, though. We should be able to get revived. He's just in the compound at the moment, so it's simply CrowCrowd positioning themselves. This is all up in the northern area near water treatment, which is the far northern side of the circle. NIP, though, they're kind of surrounded.
It does stay online, but only just.
But yes, I honestly, going back to the G2 point, I think it's definitely going to be work in progress. I think it's, for now, I think it's going to be a lesser G2 than we're used to. And I think it's a case of how does it develop over the next 6 weeks.
I'm going to address it. I'm not going to go really too deep into it. I think NELLOZ has a lot to prove. Kind of same scenario coming off the back of the GLLs, where everyone was questioning Iroh's capabilities, so to speak. And I think from things that have happened in the past, there is a bit of a target painted onto NELLOZ's back, and he does have a lot of work to do.
Absolutely.
And I think for him, it's a matter of stamping his ground, saying, "Look, I am a PEL player. I am here to make a name of myself." So, and what better way to do it on G2? I mean, especially when you look at, as you mentioned, the two powerhouses that are on that roster. You're giving such an amazing chance there. You have to take full advantage and just run with it.
Page is just repositioned on Udyr.
Oh, that's a yoink.
That's, okay, that's gone up north. It's great for the likes of Raise Your Edge. Obviously, we saw NAP holding out in their compound. TSM using that north-south.
Oh, Liquid.
Hasn't been the best, but Team Liquid are going to come in behind. I think they're going to go into the compound that TSM have just left. Jempty sees it and says, okay, there's an open compound. Yeah, we'll go into that just on the edge there. No, they're going to go further because TSM are continuing to go. TSM are driving through. Team Liquid are coming in behind them. Team Liquid decide this is probably too risky. TSM end up on the hill. Desperado's on your screen here. They are on a very strong compound up on the hillside. TSM are going to be bumping right into Raise Your Edge here.
They have to scout. Are they going to go for it? Are they going to commit?
They have to pull up and scout it.
And they're still in vehicles here. I think they've got the information read, and now, yep, okay, so that's at the top of the hill. TSM has pulled up for now. They're going to be in quite an unforgiving area, though. They'll be. You got to get those smokes down, boys, because you are going to be open to all kinds of fire. This is rough. I'm surprised they left that main compound.
NIP can see right up that valley, that gutter, or whatever you want to call it. They're in the ditch. You can just see the trace fire. It's going perfectly straight up on them. They're just going to reposition and get it at angle. And the second that the Knights maybe turn their attention that way, they should have a clean shot on them as well.
You'd assume they were going towards the Raise Your Red or Desperado's compound, and then have just seen them and thought, well, what do we do now, boys? You can back off. You can take the roadside ditch, but apart from that, there's really not much to play with. You are clutching at straws and scraping the bottom of the barrel from that position. If they can get a knock onto Raise Your Edge and maybe try and make an aggressive push, then yes, there is potential to do some damage. But again, you're so exposed to NIP, Liquid from behind, Desperados across the road, G2's there as well from a different angle. Like
it's a play that's put them in the central point, but you got to also look at it from the point of view they were in a safe compound where Team Liquid now occupy there. They've abandoned that, and Team Liquid are quite happily in there. Here's CrowCrowd. Similar rotations to FaZe Clan, as is often the case. You know, obviously, while they will have started elsewhere, they usually, you know, obviously normally in El Pozo, like CrowCrowd used to be, as when they were Windstrike in previous phases. Speaking of FaZe, they're on the move. They're going further north and on another big, wide rotate. They've got to be careful they don't get too close to CrowCrowd. And Reciprocity, well, they were 2 men down early on, weren't they? Scoom and Shiv picked off, which leaves Udyr and Monkey to keep on scouting and moving.
And it can be quite unforgiving on Miramar when you are up against it like this. 1, 2-man band, just trying to find something on the map. It's not a map that you can hunker down and snake. Yes, you can hide behind a rock or a bit of a divot in the road, but it is very open and exposed, vast areas and valleys. Slightly different to the map we'll be seeing next with the grass. There'll be a lot of snaking going on, but that's soon to be seen. I'm actually quite excited for the next map, to be honest with you. It's going to be different. Circle shifts, it updates. TSM are actually sat in a good position because now they've taken that very low amount of area they've got, but they've covered so many bases, no one else can approach them on the road. 3 roads they will cover. If anyone transitions on those roadsides, they're going to pick up so many. In fact, stuff that they're pushing this one. Ira's in.
Teams that are in trouble here. Well, Ira, we'll keep an eye on this one. Actually, you know what?
He's
going. He's named in, but that's gone a little too far. SKUIJKE wisely getting himself up on the crates on the right-hand side.
Trying to bait him out there. Don't hit Michael. Don't hit
Michael! Cole the Meta gets caught out by Rory. SKUIJKE's still holding him off. Just got himself. He's in that little crevice behind the crates, isn't he? So he's safe from all the nades there. It's a really nice play. There's the support you need. Linksy gets involved. He gets around the side there. SKUIJKE pops up, gets Iro down, and the flush comes in. Rory, meanwhile, gets took out by Miracle from long range. So TSM's push has got a lot of third-party material going in. Michael doesn't really want to take this fight anymore with the fellow Brit, SKUIJKE, who's just kept them off guard. Very well played by SKUIJKE.
Both players down at 50%. Put out for now. SKUIJKE from a different angle does get turned at least. Gustav will cop for him. Menox and Linksy, they have to come back. If they want to get him up and keep as a 3-man band, they have to take TSM down now. Gustav, though, is a man who can. Unfortunately, TSM is a team who can't. Both of them fall back-to-back. That's the 16th place. That's the initial compound that they wanted to begin with.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it was a very split push.
And now look at the map. Let's see what's going on, because Na'Vi have moved into the position that TSM were. GamerLegion's come right up behind them, so they're going to clash on the hillside here. As soon as they come over the brow of the hill, GamerLegion are in trouble. They have to, they're scurrying. They don't know where to go. They're going to be cannon fodder in a moment. As soon as Na'Vi look down the hill, you always have that big hillside advantage. Pokémon finds himself an easy hill and says, there is an entire team on the road right next to us. Toss out the nades.
The thing is, for Na'Vi, they're all very damaged, so they have to be extremely careful here. 3 members, yes, okay, you've lost one, but 3 members are in a better position when it comes to health. Na'Vi have also been shot from the backlines, which is the bigger problem. The grenades will begin. The bombardment unfolds. You can see there's damage from different angles. The grenades are connecting. Left, right, center. Makandak, he's on his own. All of a sudden, N47, they go down. G2 finds them, eliminates them from the server. You'd expect... that nade... if it warranted, it wasn't. It was a...
Record just charged straight into Team Liquid. Meanwhile, down the south as well. That's ABC getting Monkey. That leaves 1 man standing, I think, down there. That's them possibly gone. And yeah, this is, as we're seeing, it's the simple case of, oh, well, CrzyZZ actually might get involved from behind here.
Shoot the vehicle.
He sees him. He sees mxey, sees him behind there. Whoa, Chris is trying. Navi's caught Chris out as well. So G2 tried to come around the corner, get involved in a bit of third party. No, not having any of it. Chris goes down. First man for G2 again. Meanwhile, Yannis having a cracking game so far. Dispatched to N47, 4 kills and counted for him as Yannis looks to make it 5. What a start for this man.
Slight night and day scenario here. This is the exact same place that TSM had. Navi would have rocked up. Yeah. TSM could have taken them down. They had the position. Navi is basically showing us how it should have been played. You could have held this point.
I feel that they were looking at it and thinking, we are going to get pushed by multiple teams from the south.
So we got to go.
So we've got to go, yeah. I mean, we'll have to speak to Gustav to figure out exactly what's going on. It has gone onto there. This is where TSM was, what they wanted. They had 12 kills in second place in the previous matchup, but 16th place and nothing this time around. And that's just how critical, just those small, minute decisions that in-game leaders have to make. One bad call can just tumble and look so bad, but one good call can look so impressive. ENCE, well, they have a long way to run.
TSM was very, very split, whereas Navi has centralized up together as a unit, and they took the roadside, which basically the only team that could have seen them was G2, and the one man that does try to get across to scout for them, they instantly just murder. Chris isn't allowed to go nowhere. Liquid's trying to make a movement on it. Navi have moved up. They've read the info of the teams that will be coming from the western embankment. Oof. That's a shot and a half. Good God, Calvin.
Spray down and a half from Calvin. Team Liquid have read the situation so well. So they've just moved to those hay bales. By rights, they should have been obliterated by the Knights and NIP from range. But because they're engaging with one another from range and also looking to reposition themselves, it bought themselves a bit of freedom of movement, effectively, to get in there. Oh, Snark, that car's going nowhere, son. It's never going to make it to the rock. There's 2 wheels. Come on. Hand on, buddy, don't let me down.
Jump at the end, just trying to do something. TRYFFELI last man for ENCE. They fall. 12th position for them. CrowCrowd have to come down from the mountainside. They'll make it just there before NIP. This is the fight that they have to be aware of. They've got FaZe on one side. NIP are basically in front of them. So you're exposed from a certain angle. The Knights are just falling outside of the blue by the wayside. Oh, it's going to get messy on that western because everyone's playing edge. NIP, Liquid, CrowCrowd.
Braexco's move might cause problems for Navi now. So Braexco's just gone the other side of the little valley, the road that they're in. FaZe also coming down. They've been quietly going about the business in the north. They obviously had a lot of open space. They've only had the 2 kills. G2 have got to worry about DA on their back doors as we see a double crate drop near FaZe Clan. Don't know whether they got that, though. I don't think they did. As yet, okay, this is what I was talking about. The Braexco, the problem on the hill, and now we're just going aggressive and facing it off.
Raise your head distracted for a moment.
If they forgot about mxey, they're still there.
Surely. You wouldn't have expected Navi to forget. Tiikzu does come forward. 2 members just like that of NIP. The grenades are here in response, though. They will answer back. Ibi does find the bleeding bodies in the distance, and Liquid will pick up the points. NIP know they have to cleanse some for themselves before they all go down from the back lines. MBS will be the last man standing as the grenade finds its target, and that should seal the deal.
Yeah. Miracle down. He's had 8 kills in 2 games, though, so he's had a good start to the PEL Phase 3. MBS left all alone and will be taken down. So a 10th place for NIP after a 4th place finish and 10 kills in the previous matchup. So Team Liquid doing a pretty good job considering they were in a really tough position. They obviously took down Reciprocity 2 players early on. This is DA. They've poached out. They've found G2. Yannis has to hit the dirt. 6 kills and counting for that main. Meanwhile, FaZe Clan, they've engaged with CrowCrowd. That's over on the other hills, and G2 got support coming in.
The problem is that NELLOZ is bailing from this engagement. They're getting shot from so many different angles and avenues of approach. Braexco will be the last standing on that side of the road to try and get Yannis back up, but 2 members of DA still trying to find him out. Yannis confirmed. That's an insta job done. NELLOZ, the more that he shoots, though, the more information he gives to SIMSY, who's lingering on the hill, so just keep an eye on the kill feed to see if Liquid do finish off that 1 player from G2 on his own. mxey is somehow still there, and Braexco somehow still alive. Not for long.
Desperado's trying to sneak out of that, but yeah, G2 just unable to deal with the threat from behind from DA. That leaves just NELLOZ on his own. And as you mentioned, SIMSY, mxey all nearby, not to mention Na'Vi. In the northern side, CrowCrowd and FaZe still posturing and positioning. Let's not forget RazorEdge, the team that held that compound, that prevented TSM from coming in there, and the team that may well come out on top in this game, depending on how this plays out. mxey is about to find Na'Vi, and he gets PUBG down.
AKM in these close quarters positions is just devastating. Like, yes, it does have a kicks like a donkey, and it will look towards the moon. But when you just, yeah. The holographic as well, just looking straight down the barrel, it's such an easy kill time and time again. You really have to mess up your shot to be able to miss it. Ultra in the distance whips out the K9. We'll look for the player. That grenade will roll over. Calvin is confirmed. He'll try and get a long distance shot if Ultra can do something, but really, you're scraping the barrel over there on your own. Try and play for survival rather than pick up a point here and there. Liquid is encroaching on Navi's position, and they still don't know mxey's there.
Big nade, big nade. It's going to go towards Senya. He's got to run. It catches about half his health and instantly gets blasted in the back. mxey will take him down. Knocked and done at the moment. BestLadder just around the side. Look at all the angles. Team Liquid completely surrounded. Na'Vi in the road. mxey's going to take his chance. He goes for it. Gets SIMSY in the back. They weren't expecting that. Will flush it out as well. And that's caused chaos for Team Liquid. They were not ready for this. They were such a beautiful pincer on Na'Vi, and it's just completely backfired on them.
He's just sat there the entire time behind the broken vehicle. There was two of them side by side, so maybe even snuck between them and hid himself completely from harm's reach. Na'Vi are repositioning. They might swing this and sweep and clear. They're all three. Look at this. They're going out away from the circle.
It's a full sweep. This is another great play. This is what we're expecting. Here they go. They're going to come over the edge. They're going to see mxey. Now, can he do it for them? Well, he did put a lot of damage down. Ibby's going to go for it. Gets PUBG. BestLadder is on nothing. 17 health as he backs away. He's got the cover fire from mxey from a distance, but Senya pokes up and finds him. And now mxey goes looking in a 1v2, looking towards the rest of Na'Vi. What's happening? Coming down the road. Hello, Ultrastar's just turned up. He sees SIMSY in the back. He tries to get a couple of shots. BestLadder got took down by mxey. And suddenly, Ultrastar takes the circle from them both. FaZe is sending it. FaZe is sending it in the north as well at the same time. Aitzy having to go for it. They're going straight into RazorEdge. You can see it on the minimap. It just happened as mxey tries to come over the hill. That's going to be FaZe. Looks like they're in all sorts of trouble. They're going to go down. Just the one man remaining. That nade rolls in. Goodbye, FaZe Clan. 6th place for them as mxey still waits. He's waited too long, I think. He's let them get up.
They are damaged here, and they might actually, you know what? They could run into the arms of Ultra. If he's got a decent weapon on him for close combat,
yeah,
he's a marksman himself. He's a ranger. We see him time and time again sniping.
You see the vehicle. They see the vehicle.
AKM, it's good.
It's going to be Senya that he sees first, but he turns on towards PUBG and takes him low. BestLadder comes up on high. Is this going to buy time for Team Liquid? Maybe. They've got Ibby back on their feet, so Ultrastar will go down. There's a couple of battles happening. CrowCrowd way out on the eastern edge of the circle. RazorEdge still with the 3 in the compound. Remember, they took down TSM early on, and Team Liquid down to 2.
I find Na'Vi's survivability just madness.
Yeah.
Battle after battle, there's just so many individuals standing. They either you see them going down in a ball of flames, an entire roster, if something terrible completely goes wrong. It's never one solo player. Like on Liquid now and again, you'll see SIMSY just on his own, chilling, because everything else has gone wrong. With these guys, it's all or nothing. Set him to the late game. Look at this, 3 men standing after all these individual fights.
And another top 4 placement.
They're freakishly good, aren't they?
Consistency can be a big thing, and they didn't have any central circle placement this time around. They've had to work the way in. Remember, they moved into TSM's old position and fought for it every step of the way, with Team Liquid nipping at their heels. mxey tossing out a molly there, I think it was as well. That's gone towards mxey. So CrowCrowd trying to flush out the Finn. Meanwhile, the rest of Na'Vi keep on sweeping around. They are running out of territory. They're going to have to start edging up. This little ditch that PUBG is dipping in and out of is just outside the circle. So he's going to have to go up on this hill on the right-hand side of him if he's going to reach the circle. But it's waiting and waiting because he knows Team Liquid have to move. mxey is in the circle. Ibby not quite.
Raise Your Edge have waited because they have the compound survivability and cover. The problem is that, I mean, for them, next circle, you'll probably have to bomb central here and just run. Otherwise, you're then held at gunpoint with a very open gap between them and the hillside.
That's why I mean, look how aggressive mxey has been on top of that building. He's watching all this play out. Now Team Liquid spotted down low.
Just provided Raise Your Edge don't get too overzealous and forget about CrowCrowd. Those shots will give them the information that they need. There is a team lurking more towards that western embankment. mxey could keep an eye on that one. Liquid still just being kept under guard and key. Nothing comes of the vehicles. They know that there's still 2 there.
All right. There's the center point. Nobody's anywhere near it. Who's going to try and fight for it? Na'Vi have to deal with Liquid. The question is, do CrowCrowd focus on Raise Your Edge in the north? Because their angle has only ever been down towards Na'Vi and Liquid so far as they continue to trade the blows.
Back and forward we go. Finally forward is something that Na'Vi have to do. Flames block Empty's field of view for a second, and it's cost him dearly. The blue does damage. Ibby's on his own. Okay.
BeautflDeath.
Oh, God. The man's just a machine.
The beast
Yep.
delivers once again. 8 kills and counting for Na'Vi. They're going to sweep down. CrowCrowd's going to be the next target. Raise Your Edge have used this chance to get themselves close enough, though. There's a world of smoke's gone down as BeautflDeath comes over the brow of the hill and figures out the lay of the land. And really, for them, they're just going to hope that CrowCrowd and Raise Your Edge get engaged and may just third-party both of them.
They could crush CrowCrowd from behind here.
Yeah.
Rather than going to the central point, if they sweep it like they are known for doing and what they do so well, I kind of feel sorry for CrowCrowd unless they get a wild, exposed angle onto SKUIJKE or one of the players on Raise Your Edge. CrowCrowd collapsing. You're playing a domino effect here. 3 teams, all with 3 players standing. Good luck, lads.
BeautflDeath, look at him. He's just working it down. mxey, welcome to the PEL. Gets 1, gets 2. This man is so highly rated coming into this Phase 3. And Raise Your Edge decimate CrowCrowd down low. Now with 10 kills, they're looking for BeautflDeath. They're looking for Na'Vi. They've found Senya. It's Pokemon, the man they're after. mxey gets another. 4 kills and counting for the New Zealander as he goes charging around. BeautflDeath, Pokemon has a great angle, but mxey finds him, gets the head, sees BeautflDeath, and he'll take him down as well. mxey lights up for Raise Your Edge in the final phase.
The missing link. He could be the key to victory here. For phase number 3 for Raise Your Edge, we knew coming into this the man is a fragger. He can perform. He's done it before and he's doing it again on LAN. They were some spicy shots at the end. Good lord.
You thought Na'Vi had it in the bag, but mxey had other ideas. I mean, we can't give him all the credit because honestly, Raise Your Edge, they fought for the compound from the very beginning. TSM obviously chose to crash it. FaZe Clan tried to crash it, and every time they kept them at bay. Remember SIMSY's amazing plays against TSM, keeping himself out of all of those nades that came his way. Some great work overall. I mean, honestly, that whole match had so many individual little battles all around the area. I think obviously Na'Vi's fight with Team Liquid that went on and on and on. You think of G2 and DA over the side. We had DESPERADOs also in the northern side. CrowCrowd and FaZe Clan were kind of tracking each other all the way and fighting with each other all the way. Down the south, NIP and the Knights against each other. There were so many individual battles. And don't forget, it all began with Team Liquid piling onto Reciprocity, knowing full well that Reciprocity start there.
And now we're seeing these, not necessarily spray controls, but these people who know how to shoot coming to form a little bit more, because there aren't as many mass grenade bombardments. Yes, we are going to get them because they're still on the map, but certainly with mollies and flashes being more prevalent, I want to say. We saw the flashes trying to breach. You get these pop flashes where you can bounce them off walls, breach a compound, push through. And I like it. And you're going to see people like mxey, these individual ones that do come through who can shoot. I mean, even Raise Your Edge is a roster in itself. Cold Mentor onto that just complements it so much. It's a really, really strong one compared to the previous phase, at least. I mean, we all know Chris was a damn good individual. Marksman, kind of like Wookie. But I do think this is a close combat AR's kind of non-marksman game, if you know what I mean. It's more close than it is long.
Well, it's a team that definitely has come into Phase 3 with a lot of potential. And I think we're starting to see glimmers of that. Let's hear what they got to say with Parla.